Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 3 of the Revolutionary Sports Front. I'm Joe. I'm here with Tony, Jerry, and a special guest today, Josh Lentz, my future brother-in-law. Josh, how's it going?
Good, yeah. Here, talk about sports. Don't know shit about sports, so it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride for sure. And, Season 3, we're starting a little late, but, better late than never, boys. What do you say?
I'm ready to go, man. I'm just glad you're back in the mitten.
Actually, that's the big thing about this week's show is I'm in the mitten, which I'm normally not. I'm on Skype somewhere in this fucking world. And here's the thing. We got Lions. We got Packers. We have the Irish, the Spartans, the Wolverines, and most importantly, the Detroit Red Wings on the docket for today.
I think you said the most important thing was we have whiskey.
We do have whiskey. And we have beer.
Warm beer.
But we're missing one very, very large piece, and that is the one and only Frank Rochelski. R.I.P. No, I'm just kidding. He's alive. He's alive. He just couldn't make it tonight. He just couldn't make it tonight. Work is a pain in the ass sometimes, but Frankie, I love you. I miss you. I'm definitely going to see you tomorrow before I head back down to the scorching hot state of Texas.
Yeah, but pump the brakes here.
Frank's being an adult.
Your future brother-in-law says he doesn't know anything about sports, so we pretty much got Frank here. Are we really that worried?
Oh, he will be listening tomorrow, so I'll let you handle the repercussions.
He'll just give me the old horse collar outside of Conti's. But all right, let's do it. Let's get to it.
Josh knows something. I mean, he went to Michigan. There was a football team. There still is a football team there. But I mean, he knows some stuff about sports. I think he's exaggerating a little bit, but. He'll be able to talk a little Lions. He'll be able to, he's got some things.
Yeah. Speaking of Lions, let's get to it. Let's get right after it today. We got a big show and not that much time. So Lions, first game underwhelming. I think we can all admit that. 5 picks by Stafford.
Hot garbage fire.
Yeah, real great hot take there, Tony. Did you watch the game, Josh?
No.
Well, I think
Joe, give me something to work with, Joe, please.
I think Josh did himself a favor on that one because, man, I mean, yeah, Stafford was awful. Stafford was just, and the thing about Stafford is it's not so much Stafford as I think it is the rest of the team, and maybe as much as it is like say, we've heard in the local area people talking about Matt Patricia and things like that. I think it's like an anomaly for Stafford. I mean, there was a game against the Chargers way back. When Peyton Manning was with the Colts, he threw 5 picks against the Colts in one game, and the Colts blew them out.
He threw 4 against the Chiefs a couple years ago, and they won the Super Bowl that year.
I mean, even the best quarterbacks have done it. They've had that night where it's just not going to go their way, and they throw a lot of picks. But the picks though are just on the laundry list of issues for the Lions right now, and it's just week 1, and that's got to be very, very alarming for the Detroit Lions.
I think looking at the Lions as a whole, I don't ever judge too much from week 1 of an NFL season. First of all, with the limitations on practice and stuff now, these guys basically, that's the first time the Lions have suited up since last year, week 17, right?
Yeah.
So they're going out there. They had some hiccups. It's not that they lost, and the 5 picks is understandable. Like you said, Peyton Manning's done it. What scares me is the look on Patricia's face when it was all going wrong. He looked like a confused child who lost his puppy in the woods.
Yeah, and he's a young coach, man. He's a rookie coach. As far as a head coach goes, I mean, he's been a coordinator for years and years and had a lot of success, obviously. But the thing is, for him, is he's going to have to rally the wagons here. He's going to have to circle the wagons and rally the boys and get these guys going because they're going to the 49ers where they're paying a quarterback way more than he's worth. But the guy can actually play decent ball, and they're going to be on the road, which is always a challenge, out in California. So they're going to need to bring it and even the ship because as soon as they go to New England, it's probably going to be a.
New England's coming here, but yeah.
Oh, New England's coming. So okay, so New England's coming to Detroit, and that could be a pretty nasty game if they keep playing like this.
Yeah,
the Patriots will just. It could be worse.
I'm not a big fan of must wins unless it's eliminating you from the playoffs or division contention, but. You're going to lose to the Patriots week 3. I mean, 90% chance. So if you don't win this game, you're looking at an 0-3.
You're 0-3, yeah.
The chances of making the playoffs at that point are minimal.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest concern is the fact that Sam Darnold's track record in college was he blew out crap teams and struggled against good teams, and he looked amazing against Detroit, which makes me think if that track record holds true in the NFL from college, the Lions are going to be a crap team this year.
Well, Sam Darnold did throw a pick 6 in his first throw ever.
Yeah, that was a horrible throw. But after that, his receivers were wide open. He made some good plays stepping in the pocket.
I'm not going to take it all the way. I was saying he wasn't perfect. I mean, he threw a pick six, and the Jets did have a special team score, right? A return.
And a pick six.
And a pick six himself. So you're talking about a good chunk of points that were not off of Sam Darnold's arm.
The other thing is, at one point, the Lions came out and tied that game to start the second half, right?
Yeah, right at the beginning of the third quarter, they tied it up.
And then what?
And then they
didn't the Jets score 31 points the rest of the quarter? That was pretty much the game right there.
Yeah, they scored, well, they scored 31 points the rest of the game.
Yeah, the third quarter was just a straight avalanche.
All those points they scored so fast, it was an avalanche, and nobody could get. But that's what happens week 1. I mean, the Saints got blown out by the Buccaneers. You think that's going to happen when they play in week 10? I'm not. I think.
Do you not believe in Fitzmagic?
I mean, I think since Frank's not here.
But I'm not just going to go into the shed and put a bullet in my brain like what you're saying. I'm not going to do it. So I'm not doing it yet. I think it's appropriate for this situation. I don't think week 1 speaks to a season at all in the NFL the way it is today.
Yeah, and
although the Lions, I do think, look, they're screwed in that division. Honestly, they're probably the 4th best team now.
Oh, dude, watching Khalil Mack play for the Bears when he's supposedly out of shape and not in good condition, and he's just tearing through that line, he's going to be all over Stafford both times they play him this year.
Yeah, and I think I was a fan of them keeping Jim Bob Cooter as the offensive coordinator because I thought he had a good rapport with Stafford and he had some good throws. But now they look back on it, that was a bad opinion by me. I can admit that I was wrong. The guy can't call a run game to save his life. Like, LeGarrette Blount's getting killed back there. Kerryon Johnson's getting killed back there. At some point, it's not the running back.
I think
it's
he knows how to air it out. He doesn't know how to keep it on the ground.
I think at the time, though, they had a different style of offense. I mean, you look at the 2 running backs they have right now, those guys are meant to run with the ball. They're not meant to go out and catch it. The running backs they had before, I think, were made to go out.
We still have Theo Reddick.
Okay, but
no, I see what Joey's saying. You got some big
from Nebraska,
Amir
Abdullah. Yeah, I mean, I think there, and you're not going to see Riddick as much as you're going to see Blunt or Kerryon. So I mean, he's really a third back at this point. Am I
he's
wrong?
just a receiving back.
Yeah, he's just a receiving back. So I mean, now he's kind of a one-dimensional back, and you kind of take away the guessing game of him and Abdullah, who were the top 2 backs, a year ago. So I think that the personnel has changed now, and I think what's happening is Cooter is going to start to get kind of phased out of the coaching staff. They're probably going to bring in a different offensive guy next year. That's more of Patricia's style of what he liked to run.
That's another thing I want to talk about, though. Patricia's style, he's trying to copy the Patriots, and what the Patriots have that nobody else has, and I mean, everybody says this, they got Tom Brady. Like, Belichick was a failure pre-Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Tom Brady wasn't that great of a college quarterback before Belichick. They're like they're a perfect couple. You know what I mean? Like Michelle and Barack Obama. They're just picture perfect.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a failure.
Tom Brady's MO has always been that he's a hard worker. And I think that's what helps him in
Congratulations.
Well,
he's in the NFL, of course he's a hard worker.
I mean, was he really? I mean, I thought they were in like the AFC Championship when Bledsoe got hurt.
No,
Bledsoe got hurt partway through that season.
Yeah, partway through the season.
Really? I thought they were in the playoffs when that happened. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, they work well together, but you can't take that system. That system is only meant for winners. People only buy in when you're winning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
His whole trying to break the Patriot way doesn't work anywhere else but for the Patriots because
you have to
it's the Patriot way.
You have to be playing in Super Bowls every 2 out of every 3 years, basically.
Yeah, if you look at Andy Reid's coaching tree, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl champions in it. You know why that works? It's because Andy Reid is more of a people person. He's out there talking to people. Belichick said he's hung out with Randy Moss when he was on the team one time outside of work, and in like 5 years he saw Brady one time outside the facility, and it was at Randy Moss's Halloween party. You know what I mean? They're not friends. They don't go grab a beer on like a Tuesday like you would think. That doesn't work for everybody. It works for them, and it's an anomaly. You know what I mean?
It helps when you're winning Super Bowls, and they used to say something about Scotty Bowman on the Canadians, the Montreal Canadiens.
I love this saying. Everybody write this down. Listeners at home, remember this.
They talked to the who was the goalie? But he said you hate Scotty Bowman 364 days of the year, but on the 365th day when you win the Stanley Cup, you love him to death. Who was that goalie? Ken Dryden. The Montreal Canadiens said that about Scotty Bowman.
Yeah, there was a defenseman, I can't think of his name, in Detroit who basically said the same thing about Bowman. Was that Bowman would purposely play mind games with you, stand where you're supposed to clear the puck out of the zone to see if you had the guts to clear the puck right into him, basically.
Yeah, when they gave Holmstrom the number 96, Holmstrom said, "Oh, is that you gave me that number?" What was it?
It was because it was in 95, and
Oh yeah, it was in '95.
And Bowman said 96 is a year, you're gonna be gone.
Yeah. He goes, no, you're gonna get 96. He goes, oh, is that because I'm coming up to the team and that's the year I'm coming up? He goes, no, it's because it's the year you're leaving.
Oh God, what a great man.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I mean, it's very. I mean, so you got Bowman. He's won. I think it was 9, 10 Stanley Cups, and then and Belichick. I mean, he's got how many Super Bowl rings now?
5 rings.
So I mean, and potentially he could have had 8. So it's one of those things where. The success is it's you can't.
Yeah, you'd also potentially only have 4 if
Brady's also a Marshawn Lynch running play away from only having 3.
But I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of the. I get why the Patriots work, but their coach is always failing. Bill O'Brien's doing all right with Houston Texans, but he's never going to win a Super Bowl down there. That's obvious, and I can't understand why people keep going to New England for these coordinators. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, and it's hard. It's hard. I think from a position where some teams are like, listen, like this guy has just had success there. I mean, what he did worked, and I don't think they look into the deeper picture. The dilemma that Detroit is in is Bob Quinn is their GM, and he came from the Patriots, so it's a deeper Patriot connection than there is with other teams. I think other teams do it because they're bringing in a Patriots guy, they're bringing in a winner, they're bringing in a guy who knows what right looks like. But with Detroit, I mean, they have it deep down to the bones where they have a guy who's running the personnel, running the player management, drafting everything, and now he's got his guy, and really, in his perfect world, he's just going to keep poaching Patriots boys and doing it the Patriots way. And quite honestly, I thought they were on the right track. I thought that tackle and the cornerback they got from Texas were pretty good second-round picks, but what I found out earlier in the week was that neither of those guys have been really playing, so... we'll have to look, as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at draft picks, Tease Tabor didn't play at all. Jared Davis, he can tackle, but he can't cover like worth a lick. And maybe he'll learn how to cover, but covering at the linebacker position is kind of instinctual.
It's a must.
Especially in today's NFL where it's so pass heavy, and he's just getting burned by anybody with the 2 legs out there. It's ridiculous. You know,
at the pro level, if you can't cover and fill gaps and play as a linebacker, you're just not going to make it.
The truth is, there's been a long time the Lions finishing in the middle of the pack or towards just barely, when it was 3 out of 5 years to meet the playoffs, they were wild cards. So they had years where they weren't getting top talent, and they also don't have top coaching to develop the talent they do get. Like some teams survive the top, like the Packers 7 straight years in the playoffs, the Patriots 8 straight years. Somehow they find a way to find picks, get it done, but they also have Rodgers and Brady, 2 of the greatest to ever do it. Where with the Lions, they aren't drafting low enough to get your Staffords, your Calvins anymore, and they're picking guys who aren't that good.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one of those where when you're drafting in the middle of the pack like that, you got to be able to scout the guys so that way you can find that guy who's going to be that Rookie of the Year candidate who's going to take you from middle of the pack to upper echelon. If you want to, win a playoff game to start with, let alone contend.
The Lions drafted a long snapper this last season. I can be a long snapper. You can't hit the guy in the NFL.
Yeah, I think I was curious. The Lions didn't go with. So I think they're running a 3-4 defense right now. Correct? It's the first time in a long time they're running Patricia's 3-4 defense.
It's kind of like a mix. It's like
a mix.
It's like a
they
mix.
3-4 and 4-3.
So I was talking to my dad, Papa Bear, earlier, and we were talking about the Lions, and he was surprised that the Lions didn't really push hard for Khalil Mack, and it seems like Chicago. And Tony, you actually mentioned Khalil Mack a minute ago. It's surprising that they didn't give up what.
It's because of Stafford's contract. The Bears, just too much money. Bears could pursue it because they have Mitch Trubisky.
They can pay quarterback money for DN.
So basically,
gotcha.
What teams are thinking now is you can pay one person a bunch of money, and that's it. Once one person so once you have to pay your quarterback, you got to find value guys. That's just like the mantra in the NFL now. That's what the Raiders, but I don't know. Khalil Mack's definitely worth it. I want to talk about Khalil Mack when we get to the Packers. I want to focus on the Lions now. So we don't know when we're going to get back on the air. What do you guys think the season looks like for them?
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I think 4 wins would be good.
4? They're more than a 4-win team.
No, they're better than a 4-win team. Let's take a look at the schedule here. I honestly think
to the Jets with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, but
50%.
50, 500, 8. I was actually was my prediction, Josh. So for somebody who doesn't know anything, you're right on track.
What did Josh say?
50%.
He's saying 8-8.
Oh, 8-8. Okay.
So you're gonna go 8-7 in the next 15
So I'm gonna I'll give my score. I'm going to run down the list. I'm going to give my score later, though. So 49ers win. Patriots lose. Cowboys win. Packers lose. Dolphins win. Seahawks lose. Vikings lose. Bears win. Panthers win. Bears win. Rams lose. Cardinals win. Bills win. Vikings lose. Packers lose. So, okay. 8-8. Did I disagree with Josh?
No, you said exactly the same.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So I'd say for the season 8-8.
I think that's right where they're sitting. They're like an 8-8 team. I mean, the thing is, you're gonna have injuries or something. I mean, all kinds of things can happen.
I mean, we have to see how things shake out with injuries, but the Dolphins, Dallas, those are very winnable games. If we look at what you saw the first week of the season from those
The Jets'
teams.
defense ain't bad. Like, everybody's ripping on Stafford, but the Jets' defense is a solid defense. They got Leonard Williams, Darren Lee, and then Tremaine Johnson. That's a solid 1-2-3 punch. That's basically taking away a third of the field every play, wherever they're at.
I just think they're going 0-6 in the division, so that means, other than that, going outside of the division, you have to go 8-1 the rest of the way to be 8-8. I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
I don't see them losing all those games in the division. We'll see. You're always going to squeak one out here or there, but all right, so 8-8. I got 8-8 too. Tony?
4-12. And I'm the Lions fan
That's
here.
coming from the Lions fan here. That's not good. Frank, I know you're out there.
15-1. We got it.
We need something realistic.
They're winning
if you say
the Super
anything in the
Bowl.
double digits as far as the win column, we're gonna have to call you out. All right. No, they're not winning 10 games. Sorry, they're not.
All right, let's flash up to a game that, was worth every dollar of admission. Sunday Night Football. The man, the myth, the legend.
I
Aaron.
was dead at work on Monday morning.
Aaron Rodgers. All right, the man. He's out there. They didn't look great at first. They were off, a couple throws off. Weren't getting things going. Khalil Mack was getting pressure. I thought that Rodgers was out for the season, honestly, when I saw that knee injury and the way he looked getting carted off. But then, almost like Tupac coming back from the dead with that album. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ himself rising from the grave. He walks out of that tunnel, hopped up on Vicodin or hydrocodone, something like that, and he has arguably the best half of offensive football I've ever seen.
That was unreal. I thought like the same thing you said. I thought he was done. Like, I thought the season was over. I turned the game off. I turned it off. I was like, if Rodgers is done, there's no point because the Bears are firing on all cylinders. This is going to be a blowout. It's going to be an absolute blowout. I get a notification on my phone through the NBC app that Rodgers is back. So I turned the game on my phone while I'm doing a little homework, doing a little studying. And so I'm watching the game, and it was unreal. It was absolutely unreal. Like, what he did, basically on one leg, if you watch his throws, he's on his right leg, or was it his right leg or left leg that got hurt?
Left leg's the one that left knee sprain.
Yeah, left knee that got hurt. So he's like on his right leg throwing these balls, by the way. It's not like he came back like necessarily fresh or anything. He came in on one leg and threw some awesome throws, and man, oh man, it was something to see.
Obviously I don't want the quarterback to be hurt, but Rodgers, when he's a little dinged up, sometimes he plays better because he doesn't try to extend plays. Like in the first half, when he drops back, if his first read isn't there and his second one's not there, he's always like, okay, I'm an athlete, I can make moves. Once his knee was hurt, he was hitting slants, drags, all kinds of things. But I have two takeaways from that game. The first is the Packers have 2 first-round picks next year. They do have cap room. They should have signed Khalil Mack or traded for Khalil Mack. I don't understand why they didn't. I'll never understand. I get you can't pay 2 people, but Rodgers' money's all up front. He's getting $80 million before March 3rd. They don't have that many. Like, their young guys, they have a long time where those cornerbacks are going to be up.
Yeah.
They should have got Khalil Mack. Number 2, from the last drive of the game when they were up 24-23, last year's defense would have choked that away. They would have given up the field goal. Those young cornerbacks, they aren't there yet. I didn't like them in the first half, but they rallied in the second half. They made a couple of plays, and I can actually, for once, see some talent in the secondary and see some aggressiveness out of the linebackers. And it's not there yet, It's not there yet, but
They're
for the
coming
first
around.
time, I can feel positive about my defense since about 2010.
They're coming around, dude. They're coming around big time, and it was pretty cool to see. Like there were a couple passes there where if the Bears catch it, they're within field goal range, and the corners were in
Right
great
there.
position, and they knocked the passes down. I mean, they couldn't have played it any better. Any better, it's an interception. So I mean, it is very, very nice to see that there's some secondary help, and then now maybe the pass rush benefits from this because they were starting to get to Trubisky.
Yeah,
in that
and
fourth quarter.
Mohamed Wilkerson did way better in the second half.
Yeah.
And as a team overall, obviously the second half looked better and they had more momentum and stuff like that. But I'm not. A lot of people came out of the game like, "Oh, this could spur them to the Super Bowl." I'm not that ecstatic. I still think it's gonna be a rough season
it's
for
too
them,
early.
especially with the Vikings and the Bears like that. But I'm looking around 11-5, 10-6, wild card.
I'd rather have a slow start than a
Burnout at the end.
Burnout, yeah, like blower wad now and then have a burnout at the end. So, what would you say was your prediction for the season?
About 11-5, probably.
Yeah, I put down about 11-5.
The good news for the Lions and Packers is you
It
got the
just sucks you
NFC
have to play
East, so you
Minnesota
have one
twice.
loss in the Patriots, but then you have three. I mean, I'm not going to call them gimmies, but you should
You
win
mean
the
AFC East?
AFC East. Those are you should win those games, and because the Packers finished third or fourth in division last year, they're going to be playing the third or fourth divisions. They're going to have some easier games. So.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is how they do against Minnesota. They got them tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes.
I want to spend like a half an hour breaking down these throws, but I'm going to break down one of them. It's the one to Geronimo Allison for the first touchdown on the comeback. So they had a cornerback go out, Prince Amukamara, and Rodgers, the announcers kept saying, "Oh, he looked out the safety. He looked out the safety." That's not what happened. What happened was he was going to test that rookie corner because he knew they were in like a man one shell or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he just was staring at him so long the safety had to bite over there. Then as soon as the safety did, Rodgers was like, that means there's nobody on the other side, and threw up to Geronimo. Great play by him. Also, vintage Randall Cobb on that run.
Yeah.
He looked fast for the first time in a long time.
That looked really good. I couldn't believe that they pulled that play off. I mean, really, it was just a dump off, dude. It was like a 10-yard dump off.
It wasn't 3rd and 10, though, and it was a rocket.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get the first down. That was huge. So it was more like a dump off because nothing was there, and the play kind of just broke down. And then it broke down pretty much again when the seas parted, and he had nothing but green to like the 10-yard line. He had to make one move, and then he was in.
Yeah, and you could say get down 20-0, or 20-3, 17-0, but Deshaun Kaiser was in field goal range, strip sack by Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
There's 3 points they could have had.
Yeah.
The last touchdown by the Bears, the one that made it to 20, was a pick six by Khalil Mack because Deshaun Kaiser, it was a screen, it got blown up, and he just lofted in the air, hoping instead of getting hit. He should have eaten it. It was the end of the first half. He could have. I don't like the screen play call with that quarterback. Personally, I know it's supposed to be a safe play call, but more times than not, that's what happens when you have somebody get panicked back
The
there.
defense played pretty well. The score didn't necessarily indicate what the defense did.
They had a couple drives
you had to give 7 points
with Cohen
back.
and Juwan Howard, but
Yeah.
they were doing like a couple weird formations. But when when the Bears ran out of their scripted plays, it was over.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You can't sit there all game and run like trick plays and shit. You can't do that the whole time.
Yeah, so NFL teams, if you don't know, listener, they come out, they have probably the first 15 to 20 plays are scripted for any game. They practice with plays all week long. That's why some teams will look better, and then great teams are the opposite way. They get better at the end of the game because they don't worry about the scripted plays.
Well, also, I think at the end of that game, Chicago went almost completely away from Tariq Cohen and went strictly Juwan Howard at running back, just trying to pound it up the middle, burn the clock.
Yeah, and the old Packers defense last year probably would have got an 80-yard gain and scored a freaking touchdown as the time ran off the clock.
And then when you have somebody like Green Bay who can hit that quick pass and quick score, they can easily get back into it that way because when you're going 3 and out every time, you're not burning that much clock. Where if they would have kept it mixed up where they were passing the ball some more, especially when you were playing with Tariq Cohen, who you get him the ball in space, he can make something happen. I think it would have worked a lot better for him if they would have stuck to the game plan instead of playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, at the end of the day, I mean,
A win's a win.
That's just Aaron Rodgers for you, man. I mean, we saw him do it a couple times at Dallas, and it's just, dude, when that guy gets in that moment.
When I saw
it's
him
just
come
so
back.
hard to not believe that, like when we were in the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl, and Brady came out Like, obviously, he got strip sacked, and that was it. But before he got strip sacked, I mean,
everybody was like, "We've seen this before."
Yeah, I looked at the time, and I was like, "Dude, like, this is just his time. Like, this is just a Brady moment." And then, obviously, he lost. But it's the same thing with Rodgers. When he gets in those moments, it's like certain people are made for that, and just that it excites them. It makes them. It doesn't make them anxious or nervous. It makes them want to, go through it. So. He's just one of those few guys that can deal with it, and that's it.
Yeah, and you just gotta trust your training in that situation. Like if you're down 20-3, you can't score 17 points on a play. You two are one formerly military, one still in. Josh is in the Air Force. Thanks for your service. How do you guys feel about Kaepernick kneeing? How do you feel about Nike? Let's get something controversial going.
Oh no!
Get Josh involved.
This is the unscripted. Is this the unscripted military?
Yeah, I literally just thought
Josh doesn't talk much, so I want to hear his opinion.
Yeah,
on this.
we gotta get Josh involved.
It's probably the same as mine.
This just came to me. Isn't it a great idea? I'm brilliant.
This is great.
One thing I did want to say about the Packers was, like, for me, I was about to go to bed at halftime, and then they're like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is coming back out. Looks like he's gonna play." And I was like, "Oh, well, let's tune in and see what happens." And the next thing you know, you watch the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was the same way. I said, first drive, all right, they got a field goal, okay, we'll see one more. Then they get the touchdown. I'm like, okay, I got to watch one more. Next thing you know, we get another touchdown. Now it gets interesting. Next thing you know, I'm half asleep driving to work, almost getting 16 car accidents. But anyways, Kaepernick, Nike.
Oh, boy.
Josh, let's hear it.
All right. So we're to start with this whole taking a knee thing. So I guess my take on it, at least, is that the whole thing is a little bit silly. Like, everyone paying so much attention to it, like, or giving him credit. Like, the whole ad was like, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
I was going to piggyback on that later.
So Joe and I were talking about this earlier, and, like, what did the dude actually sacrifice? Like, his career was going down when he started doing this.
The dude gave himself an extra year.
It's okay. It's genius marketing because Nike stocks through the roof and their sales are way up. Like, I get the marketing, but I don't like the slogan. I don't like. There's other posters I don't like the slogan on either. Like Odell Beckham's on his thing is like play like a Super Bowl champion even if you haven't won one or whatever. It's like that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Most people try harder pre Super Bowl. You know how many like slumps are after a Super Bowl? You ever heard of a Super Bowl slump? You know what I mean? But no, I don't get where they got off saying sacrifice everything.
Right. Like the dude's net worth is like over 100 million or something like that. And he's just making more on this, and like I don't know what he sacrificed. Like
the guy got benched for Blaine Gabbert and was about to be cut, and then started kneeling, and people started talking about him. And then there was all this talk about, well, if the 49ers cut him, it's because he's kneeling, so they just didn't cut him because of that. And then he literally renegotiated his own deal to take a year off of it, so he'd be a free agent at the end of the year. Came out and said, I want a guaranteed starter job, and I want to make this much money. And teams went, yeah, fuck you. You're not worth that much money. Sorry. And everybody competes for their job every day in the NFL. You don't get to be a guaranteed starter unless you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
There's so many other slogans you could have put on there. Like, I like what they did because it is like a slap. Like, right now, the country, kind of a left movement going with the whole Trump thing, which we're not getting into the politics of it all. But, they're capitalizing on the moment. What Nike's doing, they don't give a shit about Kaepernick. They care about two things.
Money.
Dollar signs. You know what I'm saying?
All
dollar bills. So they're capitalizing. You just got to put a different slogan. I would be like, amen. I'm for the capitalism of it all. I get it.
What's funny is they try to ask other athletes what they thought about the commercial and everything, what they thought about the ad, and it's funny that the other athletes don't want anything to do with the controversy of what Kaepernick's involved in, but what their response was, LeBron said, I think it's a great ad. He still stands by Nike. He doesn't stand by Kaepernick. He didn't say anything about Kaepernick. And then Tiger Woods said he thought it was a wonderful ad. That was it. They're standing by Nike, who's also their sponsors, right? So they're not going to lose their income. But they didn't once mention Kaepernick. They didn't say, "Oh, Kaepernick's doing a great thing." Kaepernick's like, dude, it's a business move. They're using Kaepernick in the right way, but yeah, Kaepernick.
They could have gone with the old classic,
dumb.
like stand for something. Well, I couldn't say stand for something, obviously, but like. Stand up for what you believe. I don't know what you're going to say, but you know what I mean?
It's like stand up. If they would have put like stand up for what you believe in, even if it means being hated, that I would have been totally great with that. I mean, the sacrificing everything is what I don't like because he gave up everything.
No, dude, there's just only one job in this world that you can pay the ultimate sacrifice for. Well, I guess presidents get assassinated, but technically they're the chief of staff, so they are in the military, I guess, kind of. But like, And we're sitting around two people that literally signed a piece of paper that said I can take one in the chest for their fucking country. You know what I mean? Something I would never do. You know what I mean? I don't walk on the street on night. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking lights on in the car. You know, drive fast through the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah. The biggest thing for me with this is like, why didn't Kaepernick do this from the beginning? Right? Why didn't in his position, a quarterback in the NFL with money?
When he was about to play in a Super Bowl,
he could have. In all these issues going on, if he wanted to make a statement, why did he seek out a sponsor like this and put his face in the spotlight to say something about that? And honestly, that's what I don't like about Kaepernick is that probably would have required work and effort. And what he decided to do was a belligerent act. And while yes, he's not violating the First Amendment and all this other stuff. It's the fact that
they can fire him for it because there's no First Amendment.
Yeah, that's the one thing they.
Right. Okay, I know.
Like
but that's
the government,
dude. I get it. Like that's the technicality of it. But what everyone's arguing is he can do whatever he wants because it's the First Amendment to America. But the thing is, the whole purpose behind that is that we get to speak up without being a belligerent asshole. Right? It's a country where we can speak up and not speak up and make change without getting assassinated. But at the same time, you don't try to celebrate it by being a belligerent asshole. Right? You don't offend other people on your way of doing it, and
yeah,
I think people misinterpret that and they sit there and say, well, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing. It's like, dude, I get what you're saying, but it was also a dickhead move.
But he's also doing it at his job.
Yeah, like there's ways you can do it. Like, what's his face? Malcolm Jenkins. I don't know if he's taking a knee, obviously, but he wears shirts that like say something, like have a message on them. You know what I mean? Or like LeBron, or like the Clippers when they were pissed at Donald Sterling and they all put all their Clipper shit inside out and put their warmth in the center of their court. That's a protest I can get behind. You know what I mean?
His protest is almost lazy. Like, it's fucking lazy. Like, you could have put effort into something and actually made a change in the world, but, like...
Yeah, and then you have, like, they say the reason why he did it because he was sitting on the bench and then some Green Beret told him, we take a knee with our fallen soldiers, so you should knee, and that's still respectful. And like, that's great that's what one Green Beret thinks, but that's called man-who evidence. That's not causation or correlation. It proves nothing. You know what I mean? What you'd have to do is poll the entire military. Well, actually, you'd use a formula to figure out it'd probably be about roughly 15,000 people you'd have to poll in our entire military, and then you could find out if they like Kaepernick or not. My guess is they don't. If I'm going to be honest with you.
No, for the most part. For most people I've talked to in the military, it's not the most positive opinion.
I think part of it, too, is because we have to make a distinction between our personal lives and our work lives, which is, for me, the part that I don't agree with. Like, as a free American, sure, he can do that, but he's representing the NFL and his team, and he's out there.
Yeah, for God's sake, the NFL shield is the American flag.
Right, Jesus.
Oh, I know. So, I mean... it is what it is. I don't want to spend too much time on Kaepernick, man. He's a bum.
Yeah, to me, at the end of the day, it always boils down to it's at his job. Like when people complain, like, "Oh, they're impending on his infringing on his First Amendment." I'm like, you don't have a First Amendment right at your job unless you work for the fucking government. And he doesn't work for the government. He works for a privately owned company. At the end of the day, like in the last election, they literally said at my work, nobody put up political signs. People violated that, and
I was just walking around yelling cheesy gordita Trump for like 3 months. But no, I wasn't really talking about the whole kneeling thing. Obviously, we've already gone over that. We don't like it in the podcast. I was just talking about the campaign in general. It's a genius economic move, but people who are getting behind it, like as a political movement, Nike doesn't care. If anything, they probably give money to both sides so they can keep their cheap labor coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like, what drives rubber down?
Yeah, I think what people need to understand it with the Nike aspect of it, they're just looking to make money.
Also, I'm not burning anything I own Nike. I still respect Nike as a brand.
I don't buy shit based on their political stances. I buy shit on whether or not I fucking like it.
Yeah. So that's that. Let's I don't know,
do our predictions and get to college football.
Let's do our predictions. The Lions and the Packers. Let's go.
I got San Fran 21, Lions 17. Closer game, but Jimmy G pulls it out.
Mm-hmm. I got San Fran 42, Lions 21.
Jeez, pizza. What do you got, Josh?
28-3, San Fran over Lions.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling blowout from Ohio.
I'm going to be the outlier here, and I'm going to say the Lions pull one out in San Francisco, get back on track. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has been hanging out with too many porn stars. And I think the Lions are going to go in there and win a close one, 24-17.
Oh, yeah, just if you're listening at home, the spread on this game is 5 or 6 points, depending on where you're looking at, in favor of San Francisco.
All right, let's get to Green Bay Vikings tomorrow. This is a tough one for me because I obviously want to pick the Packers, but they haven't had very good luck against the Vikings. Mike Zimmer kind of has Rodgers' numbers. He's going to be hurt. They just came off an emotional win. They're going to have a letdown at home. I got 24-10 Vikings.
I'm going with your good old boy, Captain Kirk here. I'm going 35-21 Vikings.
Let's say 24-21 Vikings.
Man, my guys be the only one on these things all the time. So, where's it at again?
Green Bay.
Oh, it's in Green Bay? Oh, shit. Okay, so...
Shit.
Green Bay, they're going to take this 27-14 at home. Green Bay wins. I think Minnesota's offense struggled a little bit more than they should have against 49ers, and
especially
now they got
to
go on the road. Not going to have that home crowd behind them, and I think the Packers got a little something up their sleeve.
Little revenge game. I like it. Okay. Now to college football. We're going to start with the only undefeated team left of our three teams, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. Won today, squeaked one out versus Vanderbilt, but a win's a win. College football is tough. I think they looked good against Michigan. They looked real tough up front. I wish we could have done a show for that one. You know, I lost $50 on Michigan that freaking day. Cocks. But, it is what it is. Joe, take it away.
Yeah, and the Irish, the thing with them is they play their competition, man. So, when Michigan came in, they played up to Michigan. When Ball State and Vanderbilt came to Notre Dame, they played to Ball State and Vanderbilt, man. And hopefully they can raise that game because now they're going on the road to Wake Forest next week, and that should be another win in the W column. But
you're gonna put a win in the W column, Joe?
Yeah,
come on, man.
That's what I would.
It has been a long break.
Yeah. So I would hope that Notre Dame can go on the road and get one in Wake Forest. But the way they're playing right now, if they play the way they've been playing at home in Wake Forest, it's gonna be pretty brutal for them. So they better wake up and understand that the powder puff teams are gonna run out pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. I think they looked really good. The thing is, Notre Dame's always solid, but they don't have what it takes to take it to the next step. They just don't. I don't think they have. Wimbush and the throw he made against Michigan, I know when you see the camera angle from the right view, he saw the receiver burn his man coverage, but there's no way he saw that safety over the top or he wouldn't throw that ball unless Brian Kelly just told him, fuck it. It's pretty much a punt anyways. So I think they're going to be all right. I think they're solid 10-2 year. I like them. Probably drop too.
I like them too, man. I mean, really, the rest of their schedule isn't crazy daunting. They got Stanford at home, and they have Florida State at home. I think their toughest
Florida
games.
State just lost to Syracuse today
by a lot.
Yeah,
they're garbage.
So really, their toughest games
Straight
are
trash.
at USC and at Virginia Tech. To be honest,
piling hot, stinky trash. But yeah, so I mean, college football, unless you're in the national championship picture, there's not all that much to say about it right now. You know what I mean? It's early in the season. Two of our teams are 1-1. One of them's 2-1. You got undefeated Notre Dame, but it's too early to tell. They could turn it on and run the table. I just don't see it in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the good thing for Michigan State and Michigan is they have the Big Ten championship, and really, I don't see Ohio State and Penn State running the table all the way to that. So they have a very, very tough division with a couple other teams. As a matter of fact, we're talking about Ohio State right now. They're down 4 points to TCU. Really, what it comes down to is can Michigan or Michigan State pull out the big wins against Penn State and Ohio State? Yeah,
we'll do another show, or at least something. If we're putting this on YouTube, me and Tony will do something for Michigan State week, big brother, little brother type thing. But it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, big brother, little brother.
It's going to be an exciting season in college football, but, I mean, I think we kind of talked about this before. My passion as a fan, I've been out of state for 6 years. I love them. I'll root for them in every game. I feel it for like 15 minutes till they lose now, but it's like those are kids out there. You know what I mean? I got 10 years on some of them, dude. Like, I got a cramp in basketball this last Wednesday, and I thought I was dead. How critical can you be of these people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude,
I get it. I get it once they make millions. Today. I get the NFL, and I used to like college better because of the passion, but now I like the NFL better because of the play. As I'm getting older, I just like watching the games, chilling back with a nice cold one, like we are now, kind of doing this podcast. But good for Notre Dame. Switch to U of M.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't cover the spread today against SMU, but they still pulled out the win. There was a couple drives there I thought the refs kind of kept alive. I mean, how do you call a pass interference when the pass is 5 yards out of bounds? But whatever. They got the win. They won last week as well. I mean, they didn't look great against Notre Dame, so it's one of those.
That's the weird MO about Michigan that I was talking with my friend VJ, who will be on the show sometime about. It's like Michigan blows out every shitty team they play. It's like what I wish Michigan State would do instead of let them hang around. That's how Michigan State dropped the game to Arizona, right?
Yeah, same thing with Notre Dame. I wish they would do it.
Michigan State.
But then every time they're in a big game, they look like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Like they looked like they should have been on the same field as Notre Dame.
I wouldn't say they look like absolute garbage. Would
they score 7 offensive points with the Xavier?
What I was going to say was that they make bad choices, it seems, when they're out there on the field. When they're playing good competition, it seems like they're playing scared out there. Like, there was times in that Notre Dame game where our cornerbacks were in a better position than the receiver, and they were trying to go for the pick and trying to, like, make sure the ball stayed in their hands instead of just batting it down to make sure the receiver couldn't catch it on, like, a 3rd and 10. And then you're giving up a first down because you let the receiver catch it because you had it in your hands and the receiver just pulls it out of your fucking hands. Like, bat that ball down, make him punt it, you get the ball that way.
That's all coaching, though, dude. That's like the whole thing is like I get that Harbaugh's a good coach and he's solid, but for the amount of money he makes, he's got to produce more wins. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just saying that as like a hater of the U of M University, especially with the grads sitting across from me. They could probably rip my arms off and beat me to death with them, so I'm not going to talk too much trash. But
I mean, Harbaugh won 10 games his first 2 years, though. He's not a bad coach.
But for how much they pay him,
10 games is not the if you hire Harbaugh to win 10 games, you might as well have kept Lloyd Carr. You could have kept Rich Rod for 10 games. You hired somebody to bring you multiple national championships. You hired what was supposed to be your Nick Saban.
I'm just saying, in this day and age, winning 10 games in a season in college football.
Well, if 10 games is good, then crown D'Antonio the king of fucking England, okay?
I'm just saying it's good. It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah, I just think
it's good if you're making $3 million, not if you're making $9.
It's curious to me, though, when he was at Stanford, he was winning big games at Stanford. I mean, he was beating the shit out of USC. They would beat Oregon. They were winning big games out in the Pac-12. And that's back when USC was a powerhouse, dude.
Yeah, they had that huge upset. It's been since surpassed by UNLV lost to somebody, but it was the biggest point spread upset ever, and it was before Luck was there with Jim Harbaugh. But the Pac-12 doesn't play a lot of defense. He brings that run-heavy style. It's like a different combination. His style, he's essentially bringing the Big Ten to the Big Ten. He's not surprising anybody.
Well, it's true. That's true. But, I mean, USC was very good back, and they were ranked Big Ten.
They were ranked number 1.
There wasn't any
Michigan out
there wasn't any Big
Ten.
There wasn't any Big Ten teams beating USC back then.
Yeah,
so.
It's always easier to chase than be chased, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I like moving to Michigan State kind of as a transition. We're doing them all together, kind of. I think I said before the season they're not going to have that great of a year. I think last year they snuck up on people. This year they got their number. Next year is probably going to be the year they blossom. The good news is the rookie's going to stay. The bad news is we're probably going to suffer through like 8-4 this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Arizona State, they just need to score more points. They didn't, and they blew it on the last drive. You know.
Yeah, that was an odd game. There's some odd.
I mean, the truth is, I was in
an
Chicago. I went to a concert. I got to see like 2 quarters between walking through bars, so I can't really talk that much about it. But I saw Arizona State on our 10 when we got back to the hotel room before we went back out to the bar, and I was pretty hammered. So, I mean, I know what the classic thing happened. Though D'Antonio played trestle ball. It was like all we needed 13 points to win. We got our defense, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Tough game for them.
I mean, just kind of quick back to my 10 wins. Like when I looked at Michigan's schedule before the season, as a Michigan fan, I'm like, Notre Dame first week. We also have to play Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Ohio State, who are all ranked. That's 5 of our 12 games are against ranked teams. So to win 10 games when you throw in the 13th game of a bowl game, you still have to win 2 of those games.
Congratulations, Tony. Like
I'm just saying, like, you have to win 2 games against ranked teams to get 10 wins.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten.
Well, hopefully they come to Michigan because Michigan hasn't won a road game against a ranked opponent since 2006. I couldn't believe that stat when I heard it. When they said that after the Notre Dame game,
That
I was like,
is
what
insane.
the fuck are they? 06, dude?
Yeah, it's like someone's like pissing in their oatmeal all the time, and then they go on the road. Like the teams that serve them food are just
Yeah, like I
putting
want
rat poison in the
I
cereal,
want
baby.
Old Jimmy H not to work out. I hope for that. I don't think he's that bad of a coach. I think he's going to turn the program around still. But it's like, at what point are you like, where are the results? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, you also have to look at, I think we have probably 3 or 4 of the best coaches in college football. Maybe 5 now that Scott Frost is at Nebraska, even though they look
You
great.
can't give Scott Frost anything until he does something at a major program. But yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I mean,
Urban Meyer.
they smashed
Mark
Auburn.
Antonio is good, no matter what people want to say about him. He turned around Michigan State. He's good.
They smashed Auburn though.
James Franklin is fucking good, too, at Penn State.
Yeah, he's
I'm
good.
on the fence, but yeah.
And also you got Kirk Ferentz at Ohio, who you know...
Iowa.
Oh, yeah, Iowa. Sorry, I'm fucking drunk already.
Told you,
But-
tolerance of a 4-year-old. Don't give your 4-year-olds alcohol. We do not support that.
But I'm just saying, it's one of those things where you look at these coaches and you know they're going to have good teams year in and year out because they're good enough coaches. Where I think a lot of these other conferences, teams go up and down based on whether or not they have good players. Where even if you don't have the best players in the Big Ten, they're still going to put a good team on the field.
Yeah, we do have some really solid coaches. They're talking about, though, with Wisconsin losing, that maybe the Big Ten was overhyped at the beginning of the season. You know, we had 5 ranked teams and all that. Wisconsin lost today. Michigan State looked horrible against Arizona State. Ohio State looks like shit right now versus TCU. As I'm watching this, giving up a huge run. You know, kind of is what it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we're recording this while watching football and drinking, so enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the
Hey,
Big Ten
there's
isn't
only
that
one
good,
way to
but-
bring the show back for the 3rd season, boys. Gotta have some sports on. Gotta have some booze.
Well, the best way to do it was
Drunk and
with a
Disorderly
blow-up
Part
Frank
2?
doll. A fat head of Frank. You know what I mean?
Say cut him out.
I said a fat head of Frank because we're missing him so much.
Oh yeah, we need to put him.
Shout out to my
him
real
up on the wall.
Africans. But
Wow.
is that all we got in college football? Who do we think's winning the Natty this year? I think Bama's going to run away with it, honestly, with the quarterback that can throw.
Dude, that Tua at Alabama is just so good.
Dude,
He's
I was
just
watching a
too
little
good.
bit
and
of
he's just surrounded by nothing but talent, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nick Saban got sick of having those game manager quarterbacks that like would throw the random pick that might cost him a game. So he went to a quarterback that couldn't throw in Jalen Hurts, won a national championship. He lost. He comes back the next year. He's down to Georgia. I still can't believe that. But he throws a freshman out there, and now they have a quarterback that can throw. Saban was, flip it. I'll take one that can throw now. Shit.
you got sick of those other guys, so you went and got a 5-star quarterback. Yeah, that's a good call.
You know, I mean, Mississippi usually plays Alabama pretty close. I was watching a little bit of that game earlier, and Tua was just dropping passes in there for Alabama.
Yeah, he's
for
got a hell of an arm, dude, and he's
Yeah,
throwing
the guy is sick.
I mean, I watched a lot of the top teams play, and Alabama looks scary as fuck.
Dude, that throw he threw in overtime of the national championship as a freshman, his first game he's ever played.
Put in the turkey hole.
You can't put it any better than that.
Well, the thing is, like, people want to
Well, how you gonna? He's a freshman in the national champ. Was that 3rd and 17?
Yeah, dude, it was
Okay, the thing is,
Overtime, the national championship. He can't even drink legally, Tony.
Tony's losing the people already.
no, I'm saying, like, everybody wants to say that it's like the first game he played, but he actually played a
A
lot.
lot of games in high school.
No, he played a lot that season in cleanup.
Tony, you could play quarterback for Bama in cleanup. Hand up, hand up.
Yeah,
hand
all I'm
up.
doing in cleanup time is giving it to the 5-star
No,
running
I mean,
back.
he was throwing passes, and I thought a few of those passes were ones where he got lucky on. There was one that definitely was intended for a different receiver who was heavily covered, and Calvin Ridley just jumped up and snatched it out of the fucking air.
One of the greatest comebacks in football history, and Tony doesn't think it's good.
I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying that, like, I think he got overhyped from that
10
game.
wins is good.
next
Win a
time.
national championship, no good.
Next time I see someone come up and clean up town, I'll be like, yeah, that guy's gonna win the national championship right there. He's getting his experience in cleanup time.
Well, I'm just saying he's had experience against college level competition before that.
Well, yeah.
And some of those passes,
We get that. I'm just saying.
At least one of his touchdown passes did not go to the intended receiver.
I get that, dude. I'm just saying, like, that throw
Okay,
was perfect.
yeah.
The throw he threw to win that game was a
While
fucking
we're on the
perfect
Bama
throw.
topic,
That was.
this is something I
Thank
need
you.
to
I'm
have
Thank
not
you.
arguing that.
Thank you. There we go.
Something I want to put down for
I
permanent-
disagree with you people slightly, and everybody jumps on my fucking back.
All right, so
Well, yeah.
just in case I get hit by a bus, I need you guys to have video record of this so you can play it at my funeral. Like, everybody talks about
It's
Bama.
only audio,
and,
no, not video.
all the big networks, Bama doesn't cheat. They don't have to. They're good. Bama cheats, okay? People are just the best at it. You know what I mean? They all do it. Bama's just the best. They got some creepy-ass old accountant somewhere that has all the books. But, like, for example, and what's it?
Bama literally got caught cheating by the NCAA, and the NCAA didn't punish them.
Tony, can I finish?
How much
Can I
money
finish? Can I finish?
No.
Anyways,
Clearly.
Clint Dix, Packers safety from Florida, should have definitely gone to Florida State fan his whole life. They gave his church $300,000.
Oh yeah,
$300,000 to his church, and that's not cheating.
dude. I'll tell
All
you
right,
what.
just don't give me. I like Bama. I like juggernauts. You know what I'm saying? But don't give me the spiel that Saban's so good. He's out there. He's working harder than us. They show the picture after a pick six. He's like frustrated with his defense. Yeah, dude, great. It's a good clip, but they cheat. It's fine. I like it. I like cheating.
I'll tell you what. You know, remember that guy, that movie, The Untouchables, with Kevin Costner? It was about Al Capone.
Yeah.
And they had to find the ledger. That was the thing. Once they got the ledger, they got
over.
Al Capone.
And they got him on tax
There's a
evasion.
guy.
It's not Tombstone. What movie is that?
Alabama.
Untouchables. He just said
Untouchables.
it.
Yeah.
Alabama has that ledger
I'm drunk
guy.
and I heard it.
Alabama's got that ledger guy, and the NCAA has been after him with Kevin Costner for years, and they just still haven't got him yet.
Yeah.
Well, no, they had Bama dead to rights on an academic cheating scandal like they had at UNC, and they went, well, it's so widespread we can't punish the football team, but we're going to punish the women's field hockey team for it. Yeah. Because they know how much money.
Oh,
Alabama.
Women's field hockey. That makes me think. You remember back one of the last episodes we did was about the Michigan State scandal and how Izzo and D'Antonio were culpable, and Tony had his big old speech about how they were all this wrongdoing. Guess what? They were cleared by the NCAA and the feds. I was right. Tony was wrong. D'Antonio and Izzo had nothing to do with it. Suck it.
No, I said it needed to be investigated, is what I said, and you're like, no, they don't need to be investigated, which that's how the Larry Nassar thing happened, is people fucking burying their heads in the sand, and there's more people getting fired over Larry Nassar still, motherfucker.
I'm about to have to give you the mute button, bro. I was right, you were wrong.
Tony's getting excited now.
All right, let's move to something to get Joey excited, and so I can tune out for a minute. Red Wings, my Red Wings.
He shoots, he scores.
Oh, yeah, Zetterberg's gone.
Yeah. So,
I originally called that. Thank you.
Tony, I'm
If you
seriously
saw our
about to
group
mute
chat,
you, man.
You'd know it.
We're trying to do a show here. Nobody cares.
no, so the big thing here, I mean, where do we want to start, honestly? I don't even know where to
Let's start.
There's just so much to talk about.
Let's
with the Red
do
Wings.
it. First of all, we got about 15 minutes. Second of all, we're going to start. Let's go chronological order.
Holy shit, we have been recording for like 50 minutes already.
Tony, I swear to God. Like, the people listening wouldn't know it's been 15 minutes. They've been listening for 50 minutes. Anyways, let's go chronological order.
Okay.
Draft. Stevie Y leaving the Lightning. Z retiring. Who's going to be our next captain? Bang, bang, bang.
Okay, so draft. Big draft. Very, very big draft. And I think some teams are going to regret passing up on Philip Zadina, honestly. And then to make matters even better for the Red Wings, Joe Veleno, who should have definitely been a number 10, anywhere between a 10 to 15 pick, and we picked around, I think, 30. Yeah, it was the second to last pick in the first round. We got Joe Veleno, who's been lighting it up as far as the prospect tournament goes and everything. And then on top of that, a guy who should have gone in the first round, Jonathan Bredrin, Swedish forward. We got him. And then a defenseman that should have went in the first round, we got Jerry McIsaac. All of those guys are doing very, very well right now on their path to the NHL. Really, realistically, the only one who could make it this year is Zadina, and he's doing awesome in camp right now. And then to include last year's first round pick, Michael Rasmussen, he'll probably be on the team for sure.
Okay, so I want to kind of almost interview you on this. So everybody says Zadina should have been picked higher. What did we pick, 6th or 10th?
We picked 6.
So 6th?
Yep.
What was the reason he fell? Did other teams not like him, or did they have other needs they addressed, or did they just feel, you know what I'm saying? When somebody falls, two things happen. They're actually bad, or teams just missed the boat.
So he's a winger, and the teams before us picked centers.
So they all wanted centers.
So the top winger in the draft was Andrei Svechnikov, Evgeny's brother. Evgeny plays for us. Andrei Svechnikov got picked second, and he was seen as like the top winger, bar none. And I mean, he's very, very good. And then the best defenseman got picked first because he's a freak, and he's gonna probably help the Buffalo Sabres win a Stanley Cup. And then after that, I mean, really, Montreal just wanted this Finnish center, and they like him because he's playing in the adult league over there already as a 17, 18-year-old. And then there's another guy who the Coyotes picked up, who I honestly don't even know who he is. Like I didn't see him on any mock drafts going that high. I didn't see this kid going higher than 10 on any mock drafts. And then there was Tkachuk, his younger son, got picked by the Senators at 4. So and he's a center as well. He's an American. So
okay, so give me a % chance for the people that Zadina doesn't work out as an NHL player.
That he does not work out?
Does not work out. Like, give me the 90%. What do you think? He's at 80%. He's going to be a star. Give me where he falls and chances of, you know what I'm saying? Break it down for me.
I mean, percentages, I don't know. I have a good feeling he's going to be a star.
Good feeling?
Yeah. I mean, he should have been a top 3 pick. I mean, there's in no world did I think the Red Wings would get Filip Zadina. I thought they were going to get
everybody was so excited, especially here, but we get like the red wave of media. They're not going to say anything bad about him.
No. I mean, dude, I've talked to people. There's a couple guys I know who are really into hockey out down in Texas, believe it or not, and they told me after that weekend, they're like, man, I really like the Red Wings draft. I mean, that is unreal. So, I mean, there are people who are not necessarily Red Wings fans that looked at our draft and said, hey, man, like that was pretty badass.
Okay, so next question. How long do you think it takes all these guys to get up? Since we're the team that always keeps the old guys and never brings up our young guys.
It's a changing of the times, though. Here's the thing: is all those older guys were pretty good players. So it wasn't like we were just like saying, "Hey, let's do the whole veteran thing and all that." But really, what it came out to be was, now that there's a changing of the guard here, Z's gone, which we'll talk about in a second. Some of these older guys are not as proficient as they used to be, and now what's happening is these younger guys are ready to go a lot quicker. So I think we see Rasmussen and Zadina come up this year. I just think Zadina's too good. And then on defense, I think there's a guy, Philip Runnick, he's been grooming for a couple years, and he needed to because he needs some size. I think he comes up this year as well. So the thing you have to remember about hockey is they don't get drafted like football players. Football players are very much physically mature by the time they graduate college. They're 21, 22 years old. Hockey players are getting drafted at 18. And the NHL is still a very physical league. So you kind of, a lot of these times you have to give 3 or 4 years to get bigger and stronger. So that way when they're coming out, it's like they're coming out of college, like NFL.
Yeah, it's because hockey's so diverse. There's so many different leagues. There's so many places you can find these guys. It's not like there's just one. There's not. The NFL pretty much picks from NCAA football. And the lifespan in the NFL is so short. It's like, but they have to play when they get there. You can't sit on the bench for 2 seasons. Your career's going to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that concerns me is the Wings' MO. Jerry's kind of already mentioned this, is that they don't bring guys up right away and they let them sit in the minors. And usually, some of their best, like they'll develop in the minors somewhat, and then they plateau when they could still be developing. And then when we bring them up, they've already reached their peak. Because they're at an age where they aren't going to develop as much anymore because they're basically in their prime.
Well, the biggest problem is we were not getting top 10 picks all those years. I mean, the last 2 years are the first 2 years in a long time we've had top 10 picks.
But I do agree. Everything you've seen is Zadina's supposed to be the truth. So
yeah, I mean he's been killing
trial
it.
By fire, man. Trial by fire.
He's been killing it. Rasmussen, I think last year, I know it's junior hockey. But the guy was averaging over 2 points a game in the playoffs. I mean that's for any league, the playoffs is the better teams that going up head to head, and Zadina was lighting them up.
Yeah, but it's like and
he's big.
We've been hearing about Wings prospects forever, but since like Datsuk and Zetterberg, they really haven't had top talent, but they haven't had the draft picks to get them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think it was a good draft. I haven't heard anything bad about the Wings draft. I just actually want to see the guys play. And when I flip to a Red Wings game mid-October, mid-November when they start, just want it to be competitive.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that got me this past season, which we weren't doing shows then, was at the end of the year, when a bunch of our veterans were hurt, we brought up the young guys. And when we brought up the young guys, we were winning games and the young guys were looking good. And then we went out and signed more veterans in free agency, which I wanted to see the young guys. Let them play in the NHL. Let them see what it's like to play 82 fucking games against NHL talent and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, though, we only really got Vanek and Bernier. And Bernier's like just He's a goalie.
It's a
We
sick name,
needed a
dude.
goalie, dude.
We did need a goalie, but
We needed a goalie. I mean, and Vanek was the whole, which we're going to get into, Zetterberg. We got Vanek, so there's some veteran presence and some leadership and goal scoring ability. He can help out with the younger guys,
and
you know?
he can have trade value at the deadline again. Like the
and
last time.
if we get injuries, I mean, let's face it. If we catch the injury bug, like, dude, I can't just sit there and watch like a bunch of AHL players on the roster. You know what I'm saying? So we got to have a little depth.
Yeah, for sure. So, Josh, you're about to marry into the Krasick family. You know, Papa Bear, Mr. Andrew Krasick, is a pretty big Wings fan, and so is Joey.
Oh,
You're going to jump aboard the train, you're going to root for the Blackhawks.
Oh, no. It'll be Red Wings for sure.
All right. Good.
That's good.
John's there to kill you. After
I wouldn't
this.
dare.
Good job.
And so, well, let's talk about Z's retirement or early retirement here. I mean, it's not so much of a
Z's
retirement because he's going to be on LTIR, but man, you know, to me, it's a big shocker. I mean, maybe not that big of a shocker, but it just sucks that he's got to go out like this. You know, he doesn't get to ride into the wind like Lidstrom did, where he just got to play out his contract and be out at 40. You know what I mean? It kind of sucks because Zetterberg was still putting up points, and he was the only veteran producing last year. He was the only veteran producing, and think about it, if Z had talent around him. So if Zetterberg was on a team like Washington, he's got to have a lot more points.
I mean, he gave us a lot, man. I like him. Pro Heinrich. He's got a great beard. A beard I admire.
Yeah. I love Z. He was that guy who, when I looked at the stats, I think it was towards the end of last year, it was like
great job.
A bunch of young guys and Z, and then you see all these veterans play way more games than young guys who weren't producing shit early in the year, and you're like, great, that's why we sucked this year. Z was the glue holding the team together, I think. And we need to get another good captain out there, which I think going to Larkin will be a good thing. Larkin had a great season last year. And with Z, it's one of those where, from the rumors that have been out there, he hasn't been medically cleared to play since he had back surgery. But he said, fuck you, I'm going to play through this anyway. And he's just gotten to the point where his back is so gone he can't play anymore.
Yeah, we don't really deal with rumors here on RSF. We don't really support rumors. But yeah, I mean, he gave us everything he had. He literally can't play medically. I love the guy. Great. He was amazing against the Penguins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was great back when we were in the Western Conference.
Won the Conn Smythe.
He was, weren't they the first, Sweden, first time they won? He got a gold medal, didn't he?
Yeah. He's got
was the first European team to win a gold medal? Czechoslovakia won with Hasek back in the day.
No, yeah. So
he was the first European captain or something like that. He is the first for Europe.
Lidstrom was the first European
The Olympics,
captain.
dude? Russia's won like 1 million gold medals.
They're in Asia, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, aren't they both?
Technically they're both, but they're mostly in Asia.
Mostly Asian.
But most sports count them as part of Europe.
Well, when they did it's the first time Sweden got a medal or something. I know there's a fact out there. I just don't know what it is, people. Okay?
So
I'll blow your mind next time.
That Swedish team was ridiculous, though.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Yeah, dude.
So really, man, I mean, we could talk about Zetterberg all night, just all his accomplishments and stuff. But I think it's best to look kind of toward the future, the next big thing, and I really think it's Dylan Larkin as the captain of the Red Wings. I think he deserves a C. Like Zetterberg, he's very involved in the community of Detroit. Throughout the summer, I mean, the guy runs his own hockey camp, and he participates in 2 other hockey camps. And he's a big piece of putting together the USA hockey game that was for Jim Johansson from USA Hockey. They had like a big all-star game this summer up at Plymouth. Really was, Austin Matthews was there, Patrick Kane was there, all the big American names, Ryan Suter. And they all play in it's like a charity game, babe.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But Larkin was a big part of putting that together. And I mean, the guy is 22 years old, and the fact that he's doing that at that age, it shows a lot of maturity. It shows that he can be the face of a franchise because he's doing the right things off the ice as well as on the ice. And his play earned him a pretty good contract. The Wings invested 5 years in him, a lot of money. I think it's $6 million a year. For 5 years, and he's got to take the reins and go, dude.
It's a lot of pressure to be captain,
There is, but if you're gonna put the money down,
officers, right? in military?
Yeah.
Because you went to Michigan, so you got both officers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like to lead people. You know, it's one thing to be a star when you don't expect it to lead. Somebody else is giving the orders, you know? It's another thing to have to be out there, keep team morale when it needs to be, like, rip on the young guys when they're not. You know, somebody who was your best buddy, your roommate, your drinking buddy, now you got to yell at them for going out drinking. And, you know, last month you were drinking with them on game night, you know, that kind of thing. I think Larkin has what it takes to be a leader, but those are big shoes to fill. We're talking Stevie Y, Lindstrom, and Zetterberg.
Don't forget, Stevie Y was younger than Larkin.
I know. Stevie Y was a better player, too.
He was, but, you know, I think Larkin's play on the ice is proved that he can perform and lead by example as well as he can lead, you know, by his his words in the locker room. And maybe he doesn't talk much in the locker room, and that's okay. I don't think Lidstrom did very much.
Yeah, Rogers isn't a very vocal leader. That's why he always lets like a defense guy do the speech and stuff. But he leads by some like third string left tackle that made it through camp and then got cut. You know, cut week. Talked about how Rogers sat down with him. His first day there was like, yeah, learn the playbook. You'll have a chance of making the team. He helped him with some reps. Talked to him about plays. You know, leadership isn't just yelling at your people, like doing the Jameis Winston before a game, firing people up. Leadership is being excellent in everything you do and also mentoring at the same time, being there for people. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe.
And I really think Larkin showed that, man. I really think he showed it, like I said, on the ice, off the ice. And don't forget, too, Larkin plays in every situation. Back in the day, Yzerman didn't necessarily do that. He didn't kill penalties. He didn't play in those situations until Scotty Bowman came around. So Yzerman had about 10 years in the league of being solely an offensive player and a guy that did nothing but get after the net.
The other thing is, what other option do the Wings have? You know, you're going to give it to Abdicator? No.
Right.
I mean, one thing for me...
Cronwall for like one season, then he retires?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point at that? You know, at that point, like, what is the point of giving the seat to somebody for 1 year? And another thing, sorry, Tony, I know you got something to say, but real quick, Zetterberg has time left. He will be on LTIR. He will be around in the practice rink, in the locker room. Larkin has a mentor in his back pocket pretty much for like another 2 to 3 years. Zetterberg will be there and can give him guidance along the way. And I think that's going to help a lot. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, no, it's cool. What I was going to say was one thing with Larkin that I like is we always talk about Yzerman. He is known as the captain. Larkin grew
Pretty
up...
sure the captain is Derek Jeter, but yeah, go.
Well, I mean, for the Wings. Yzerman is known as the captain. And Larkin grew up in the Detroit area watching Stevie Y as the captain. Which is why I think that's going to help him. He's seen Stevie Y. He's been around Z. He knows this team's history and how much this team means to this town. And that's why I think he should be the captain. And he is the perfect choice. And he had a great season. He's not one of those guys who, I'm just a rah-rah guy in the locker room. He's out there on the ice, putting in work, night in, night out, doing the fucking job.
And I think too, Larkin also said when he was trying to sign the contract, I mean, he was very positive and open about the process of signing the contract. You know, he said, hey, listen, like, it's taking a minute, but y'all need to realize it's summer. Like, Kenny's going to take a vacation. I'm going to take a vacation. My agent's going to take a vacation. Like, it's going to take a minute to sign. Like, I'm going to sign. He said, I'm going to sign. Don't worry about it.
That's what Roger said all summer.
I want to be here. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that's the type of thing, though, I want my captain saying. I don't want him holding out on contract. I don't want to be like Johnny Tavares just leaving everybody hanging. Like Larkin was always very positive, very adamant. Like, dude, relax. I'm going to sign. It's going to get done. It's going to be great. We're all gonna be happy. Like, dude, it's cool. Like, I'm gonna deal with my hockey schools. I got this thing going on this summer. I gotta train. I gotta do hockey schools. I gotta take a little vacay. Kenny's gotta do his thing. He's gotta put the team together for the fall. He's gotta take his vacay. He's gotta do this. You know, so, dude, I think the very drama-free version of that as well is a very mature way of approaching the game. And like I said, like dude, Larkin is just he's so mature for his age, and he does so many things on the ice and off the ice. It's an obvious decision. I think the team wants it too.
Like I said, I think it's the only decision, but I think he's going to do okay. I'm not necessarily as confident as you two are about that he's just automatically going to succeed, because when I watch him play, I don't think that necessarily plays there to be captain yet, but it's the only choice we have, so we'll see how it works out.
So talking about confidence and predictions and things like that,
and Stevie Y,
there's a little bit of crazy action going on the last couple weeks.
Wait, I thought we didn't deal with rumors on this show.
That's got things a stirring. Well, this is true.
What rumor? That Stevie Y stepped down as general manager and is going to take an executive role in his last year, and he's moving back to Detroit to be closer to family. It's not a rumor, Tony. He said that. It's fact.
But the rumor, I guess there really is no rumor. The speculation.
We're going to speculate. That's different.
Speculation is the better word. I'm sorry. The speculation is that Steve Eisman will be the GM of the Red Wings in a couple years. And this is my. Can I make a bold prediction? Can I do that?
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, fuck.
That was an aggressive way to say that, Tony. But yeah, Joe, just whatever.
Now that Tony's yelling at me to make a bold prediction, I guess I'll do one. Jeez, don't pull my
Shove
arms
his thumb
out.
up my ass and call me Sally.
Jesus Christ. So here we go. My bold prediction is Steve Eisman does what he's doing. He does his senior exec role with the Lightning. He finishes out his contract at Tampa Bay. Ken Holland's got 1 year left in Detroit. I think he comes to Detroit as a senior advisor / exec or whatever in Detroit for 1 year while he's home. He then gets a chance to sit there with his little notebook, evaluate everything, work with Kenny Holland again, and then Kenny Holland retires at the end of his 2 year contract. And Steve Eisman it's basically a year-long left seat, right seat for Steve Eisman. Then he steps into the GM role of the Detroit Red Wings. And honestly, that year could be a good year for Detroit because every single person on that organization is beyond notice.
Yeah, I mean,
if they need a new strength coach,
I think that he's just
I'll come a calling.
Put some really good teams together, and
yeah, no, with the Yzerman thing.
Yeah, sorry, I just got interrupted. Tony pointed at me to show that they're showing the Michigan SMU highlights, so I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, listener.
No, they were talking about Josh Gordon's being released on Monday. That's what I was trying to point out.
The fuck I care about? Lay off the weed, man! The fuck I care about Josh Gordon, dude? He's a ball.
About the Red Wings and Tony.
I figured we might break some news on this show.
Breaking news! ESPN. Not only are you going to listen to this podcast tomorrow, Josh Gordon's going to be released in 14 weeks.
For a little perspective for everybody back home listening to this, Jerry's talking about the Red Wings, and Tony points at the TV like there's some massive alert or massive thing going on. We all look, and then we look back at Jerry, and Jerry's like,
Mind you, I can't see the ticker. I can literally. Joey is so muscular. Him and Josh, I can see like a fucking gnat's eyelash.
Tony's pointing at the ticker at the bottom of the screen that says Josh Gordon will be released on Monday. I mean, the ticker is only there for what, like 2 seconds?
Yeah, the truth is, I think Stevie Y made a great team in Tampa Bay, and they couldn't get it done when they had their great chance. And I think that. I think he's actually just going to come home. I think he thinks he's coming just to relax, to retire, sit on the money, bang his smoking hot wife. I'm guessing she's hot. I don't know. But then he's going to get that itch, the same itch that all great people get when they're sitting around doing nothing. That itch is going to make 2 things. He's going to start snorting coke, or he's going to be the GM of the Wings. Okay? It's going to be a couple years, but it doesn't look like a coke to me.
I don't think he's going to snort coke, but Dude, it's just one of those situations where it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? Like what was it?
Yeah,
John Gruden.
The best example of this.
John Gruden going to the Raiders. I mean, there's talk about
that was like 10 years in the making. But,
yeah, man.
And the difference is John Gruden somehow became a better coach as an analyst. But the best example is Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer had the problems in Florida. Stevie Y isn't getting he's not going to get fired obviously as the GM of the Lightning, but he's not enjoying it anymore. He's not fun the way Urban was having fun.
I get what you're saying. It's not the same situation, but it's
parallel. So then Urban takes a year off to be an analyst at ESPN, and it's all about his family. He doesn't want to coach anymore. It's too much for him.
Well, no, he had health issues, and then he got them under control.
Yeah. But meanwhile, those people are plugged in. He knew Tressel was about to get canned. He knew about the tattoo scandal, and that's his dream job, Ohio State. That's where he was raised. That's what he wants to do. Steve Yzerman's a smart man. He knows that if he steps down and goes, if he wants it, that Red Wings job is going to be there for him. So even if he doesn't, he's setting himself up so it's a play. He can sit on his ass, hang out with his kids, grandkids, or he can have the job. He's setting himself up.
It's literally like the prodigal son returns type situation, man.
Dude, I saw a picture of him. I put him back on the ice, bro.
Yeah, he looks healthy. Dude, you know who could... Everyone asked him at all the alumni games, Nick Lidstrom. They're like, man, you look like you could still play. He's like, no. But, man, it's good to see those guys take care. And Lidstrom's still in the organization, too. We have Lidstrom scouting in Sweden. and he still comes back around every once in a while to sit around with the front office in Detroit.
Dude, he's drinking Swedish beer, banging Swedish models, bro. He ain't scouting crap.
Or his wife.
Okay, wife, whatever.
But I mean, he still has a home in Detroit and everything too. So
tax purposes.
The great thing is that
so
what we built in the late '90s, besides championships, was legacies and people that come back and help this organization. And it really man, I'll tell you what. People get frustrated with Ken Holland because of the veterans that kind of sit around and
because they offered him a senior advisory role to move Yzerman into the GM position, and he turned it down because he wanted to stay GM. Since Stevie Y left us and went to the championship team in Tampa Bay.
That's not what I was getting at. What I'm saying is Ken Holland has had trouble, and people have been complaining about this, and I've complained about it from time to time. Is that we do have a lot of veterans in the lineup that probably don't necessarily need to be there anymore. And Steve Yzerman, what he did in Tampa Bay is he was able to move some veterans that probably other GMs were not able to move. He took Martin St. Louis, and the thing is,
Martin St. Louis.
And when I said about putting people on notice, as Yzerman is not afraid to make a trade. He traded Jonathan Drouin, who was a top 3 pick, right? He traded Martin St. Louis and Vinny Lecavalier, who were legends down in Tampa because they brought a Stanley Cup there.
With Bill Davidson as the owner.
But they weren't producing anymore, and somehow he was able to get them out and get great returns. He traded Vinny Lecavalier, I think, to the Flyers for Matt Carl, a defenseman who played big minutes in that year they went to the Stanley Cup against Chicago, and then he traded Martin St. Louis to New York for Boyle and Callahan, who were also big components.
Fuck Brian Boyle.
Who are also big components that Tampa Bay team going to a conference championship and a Stanley Cup championship. They lost both of those, but they're contenders.
Oh
right?
yeah, they were great players.
They're legitimate. They're legitimate contenders.
I don't like Boyle because he's kind of a goon, but
yeah, he's a jackass.
I like him.
But I mean, they went to the conference final last year. No one was stopping Washington. They're a team on a mission for Ovi. But I mean, Tampa Bay. I mean, if they beat Washington, they win the Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying? So Yzerman is able to build teams. And no one's safe. No one is safe unless you're Victor Hedman or Steven Stamkos. You know, I'm sure we have a couple guys.
And he was also able to convince Stamkos to resign. You know?
Yeah. Stamkos could have gone to Toronto for a lot of money, and he would have been the new face of the Maple Leafs. And the Red Wings obviously created space for him. He could have went to the Red Wings, who were about to get a brand new arena, and we're going to pay him a large sum of money.
And I know that maybe the non-hockey fan out there, it sounds way better to live in Tampa than it does in Toronto, but if Steven Stamkos came back to Toronto and brought them a cup, they would make him prime minister over Justin Trudeau the next day.
You can,
all right?
You can live life in Tampa, make that money, or you could go to Toronto and live forever.
Yeah.
Like literally be like a statue.
So he's getting sold on a legacy, and Yzerman had sold him on beaches and a paycheck. You know?
Pretty much.
And once you have that much, I mean, I don't care who you are. You can say what you want. For some people, it's just about the money, but they don't make enough money in hockey, and that's such an aggressive sport. Those guys are true competitors on the ice. It's about, like, that's why Babcock went back to Toronto. He wants to be a legend. I think we all want to be a legend, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. If he brings a cup to
I'm definitely the
Toronto,
funniest Preston brother.
Well, he's definitely got a better chance now after they signed Johnny Tavares. I'll tell you that much.
Johnny Big Nuts Tavares, I like him.
Man, they got a tough lineup. But anyways, so I mean, honestly, my bold so to finish my bold prediction, believe it or not, it wasn't finished. I think he becomes GM of the Red Wings. In his second year, Steve Yzerman is GM of the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings go to the Stanley Cup Final.
That's bold.
Very bold. We'll hold you to it.
We have Zadina in his third year in the league, who's going to be a star. We have a better defense because I truly think Jacob Trouba will sign with the Detroit Red Wings next summer because Jacob Trouba has been vocal about.
And Joe Hicketts looked good last season.
Who?
Joe Hicketts?
I'm not really going to talk about him. Jacob Trouba, who's a good defenseman, very very good defenseman from Winnipeg, has been vocal about how he would love to play for the Red Wings, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent next summer. So we get a good defenseman in him. And I think the Red Wings are really holding out for him. I think they're gonna try for a trade. It wasn't gonna work out. They'd have to give up too much, and I think they're holding out to just sign him for nothing next year. So,
solid.
Things would be on the up and up as far as our new prospects that we have in the system and things like that. And I think Yzerman comes in at a good time. He makes some moves. He makes some good picks, and I think he pushes the team pretty far in the playoffs as his second year as GM.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like.
It's in 3 years. It's not like it's like tomorrow.
I'm not okay. If he comes here, they probably will get to the Stanley Cup final. I agree with that, but I think it's like 75%. He's not gonna.
Wait. I correct myself. That's in like 4 years, dude. We still got this year, next. I'm saying in like 4 years. So I mean, there's time to make some changes.
All right. I don't think Yzerman's gonna be.
So your plan is for 2022.
I want him to be. It's my dream, but I don't. I think he's actually just hanging him up.
You think he just wants to come hang out in Detroit?
Yeah, that's my theory. He just wants to hang him up, and he's gonna get the itch to come back. It's an itch in those guys, man. It's the same reason why Larry Brown's still out there coaching the SMU Mustangs in basketball.
So he's going to get the itch, but he's not going to do it?
I think it's about 75-25.
75 what? 75.
He's not going to do it.
75 he's not going to do it, but 25 he's going to do it. I just can't help it. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, how can this not happen?
So, Joe, you said 4 years from now, so you're calling the 2022 Stanley Cup for the Detroit Red Wings?
They'll be in the finals. I don't know if they'll win it.
Oh, dude, if they get there and don't win it, I'm not sure if I can handle that depression again.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal last time.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, my mom's still,
I think the whole town knows.
Your mom's forgiving me. She still makes me Baby Ruth bars.
Yeah, shout out to my mom. She's a real one.
Yeah. She's
Even
still
though you broke one of her fucking chairs and I had to like explain it to her.
It was a shitty chair.
Tony, way to put that on permanent record, you jack.
It was a shitty chair and it deserved to die, just like the Red Wings died.
If it makes you feel better.
2009, Tony, get over it.
The chair was part of a set. Another one died the night that Michigan State lost to Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship. And I can't say it died in a fire for legal reasons, but I can't say it did it for moral reasons.
Well, the chair that was part of a set is now a pair of bar stools. Okay,
yeah.
Let's put it that way. We just refurnished a little bit.
I was gonna say it's a magnified hunk of wood and metal, but you know,
it's addition by subtraction, right?
Okay, addition by subtraction. Before I forget, the music at the beginning was provided by www.packdw.com or dv.com. They want a shout out so we could use it for free. There you go. It's like the 10th page on Google. Good luck. Okay, so...
Well, at least we have ad placements now on the show. That's pretty cool.
No, like that's not, okay, not neither here nor there. So Josh didn't talk a lot. He's at the beginning. He's not that big of a sports fan. He's a little shy around us. I can understand why with, Joe here. That's why I'm saying it's too reckless, but looking forward to married life.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little more convincing next time, bud.
Sure.
Hannah could listen to this.
Shit. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Any more questions for Josh? Well, we got him. He's probably never gonna be on again, guys. I like Josh.
He's probably never going to be on again.
Jesus.
Hey, guys, chances are we're never going to let Josh back
What
on.
are the chances that he's going to be back for Hannah's bachelorette party and he has to come hang out with us? Last time he was in town, he didn't hang out with us?
I mean, the next time he's in town that we'll all be here is his wedding. So, I mean, like...
He's going to be busy.
He's probably going to be pretty busy.
Probably won't be doing
That's a fair...
podcast.
But there is Christmas.
Do you want to do a podcast in the morning?
There is Christmas. I'll be back at Christmas time.
Christmas special.
Christmas special.
Well, now you got me thinking. I don't want to tease the audience too much, but I'm thinking about getting a big, long table. I got 16 places to hook up mics.
16 places.
All right, hold on. I only got 8 mic slots, but I can figure out the rest of them.
Who the hell are we going to talk to?
16 people in here.
We'll just
That's
bring them
too
in.
many
We'll just
people.
grill our friends as sports fans. That's
That show will go on for 10 fucking hours.
be the best 10 hours of my goddamn
Best
life.
10 hours of my goddamn life.
this one's like an hour and a half almost at this point.
Well, you want a birthday cake? You want to celebrate?
No, I want more booze.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so sorry for any outbursts post the first 15 minutes. Tony doesn't know how to handle his booze. We'd like to apologize for anything we might have said offensive. Actually, I don't want to apologize because that's admitting responsibility. But if we did offend you, I didn't mean to. It was only a funny joke. I don't know.
I think we did a pretty good job this show. I don't really think I edited this at all, which is great because I'm really hammered.
Mostly the edits come from one individual who is not necessarily here tonight.
Oh, let's not point fingers, bro. Anyways,
I was not throwing that out there, but okay.
We've had other guests. It's not necessarily Frank.
as
but,
always,
I mean,
hit
it
us
could
up with
be
your
Frank.
questions. I do miss him, though. It's certain
Frank, we
element.
love you. Frank, we love your vulgar voice. I miss it.
I'm not moving to Chicago.
Why don't you move to Chicago?
So,
You guys see something
Man,
this way.
as Frank would always say, Tony, pay the bills.
All right, we don't have a website right now, so don't worry about that shit.
Dealing with some issues with our financial backing.
Called We're All Broke Bitches.
That's not true.
Okay, Jerry has money but doesn't want to fuck it up for the show. That's what's up.
That's not true either. Tony, just
Tony, pay the bills.
Facebook.com/Revolutionary Sports Front. Twitter.com/RSF Podcast. And, yeah, YouTube. We have a channel on there, which is where this fucking show is going up.
We should have taped this, dude, so people could have seen the Tony point. You know, that would have been freaking gift.
I wanted to do that. Nobody agreed with me. I had great ideas when I was sober, but nobody wanted to listen to them then.
Well, that's before I knew Frank was not going to be on the show.
And also, we have an Instagram. Search Revolutionary Sports Front. You'll find it. There ain't shit there right now. But we'll put some shit up soon.
Is that it?
I need to figure out how to work this mic.
Just say,
Adios, amigo!
Maybe Tony shouldn't drink anymore.